Hey, welcome to the inaugural episode of Grammatically Incorrectly Named Take It Personal, SJW style, with me, Jamie Rennell, Stephanie Bartlett, and Will Austin. Just a real quick intro from myself so that y'all know who I am. I'm an audiobook narrator, and I'm also an actor, an avid fan of the Red Sox, the Boston Celtics, and believe it or not, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm a father of 4, and I love my dog, and I pretty much don't give a damn what anybody says about me. So there you have it. I'm going to kick it over to Stephanie and let her kind of tell you a little bit about herself.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, y'all. I am Steph Bartlett. I'm a child of God. I am a lover of my partner of over a decade. We have 3 very bougie rag dolls in the DMV, or the District of Columbia. And I have a very wild and beautiful family. I think most importantly for you to know about me, I orient in 2 important ways as a LeBron sexual and a ride or die aging but wise Beehive fan. I believe in truth. I believe in joy. I think there's divine timing, which, we'll see how that comes up in all of this. And I often take things very personal in the best way possible, but sometimes not. And we'll get into that too. But I will pass it to Will.
All right. I am Will Austin. I'm a white dude from Alabama. So I've seen some stuff in my day. But I've had a strange path through life. I've lived kind of almost everywhere in the South. I lived in Michigan for a while for school, and then came back to the South. And I have, like Steph, a gorgeous family, 2 crazy dogs, 1 Zelda Pomeranian. She's my absolute princess. But no better than, she's definitely not better than my wife, who's like my whole world. You wouldn't guess it, but I am first generation off the farm. So while I am almost 6'5", blue eyes, I do not have a trust fund, and I do not work in finance. So that's just on me. But I got a lot of weird experiences from all over the place. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm a weird guy. I don't know. I like me, though. So why are we here, though? We're here largely because we all needed a way to deal with our individual lives and realities kind of coming to the end of last year, both dealing with personal things in our lives and the world around us. And me, Stephanie, and Jamie all have the crazy connection of all having marched DCI, which we will get into at some point in the future. But largely, too, I realized, look, why are we doing a podcast? Like, we could all just go to therapy, which we all do already. But I sort of found that everything that I was saying, people seem to enjoy what I say. A lot of people around me are very encouraging of things that I have to say about what's going on in the world and things in my personal life. But I was living kind of in my own echo chamber. And I just felt like getting that voice out to other people, especially 3 people who have very common goals, but very different ways of approaching them. Getting us together could help amplify our voices. And even if it just reaches 1 person, makes their lives better and happier, then feels like doing something instead of just standing in my kitchen yelling around my wife while she is nodding in agreement. Let's get into it. So we're going to kick off with comment of the week. So if you checked out our TikToks, our videos that we put up this week, and put a comment down, congratulations, we're about to call you out on the podcast. So Jamie, I will let you go first.
Thank you, my friend. So just real quick to kind of piggyback on what you said, there was a period for me, I felt just kind of helpless, like Will was saying. It just, to me, I felt like I was yelling at a brick wall, and getting so frustrated, and not just with things that I wasn't opposed to, but with things that I was aligned with that weren't doing enough for me, or I felt weren't doing enough in whatever situation it was. So this is, to us, was just kind of a way to respond for that, to me at least. But all right, comment of the week. So if you haven't seen the video, I was talking a little bit about personal responsibility and culpability, and how, to me, Donald Trump has gotten really good at pointing the finger at everybody else and not accepting any blame. And one of the comments that I got was from Christopher. I think he may have missed the S, but I don't know. Maybe he wanted Christopher, but it's Christopher 707 said, Fixing the system ain't easy. How about a little slack? The problems Trump's people have to unravel were made by multiple people. So I'm going to shock some folks here, and especially some folks that know me. Trump was right about one thing. The government is broken. It is absolutely miserable. It is an absolute quagmire, and it's almost impossible to get anything done. He wasn't wrong, and that shocks a lot of people. The government's job is to provide for its people. That's what it's there for. And it hasn't been doing that. And that's kind of fallen on deaf ears for the Democratic Party. And that obviously showed in the polls. Now, that doesn't mean that you can just go willy-nilly and do a bunch of shit, create a bunch of problems, and then not accept responsibility for it. The point that I was trying to get across was that Donald Trump has made a mess of things repeatedly throughout his life and his career, and he always, always, always blames somebody else. Stormy Daniels, E. Jean Carroll, Michael Cohen, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James. Everybody's got a problem, and it's always their fault, right? And to me, for the party that espouses personal responsibility and, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, they're the ones that are doing the most victim like behavior I've ever seen out of a party. And so the hypocrisy really kind of sends me over the edge. So what I ask is that when you see that, if you feel like you need to blame somebody else, is that maybe you take a second, look in the mirror and say, hey, we're not responding to what the people need, DNC. We're just kind of going with the status quo. We need to change some things instead of saying, oh, it's the GOP's fault. And if you're Donald Trump, realize that you're a giant mess and maybe take some responsibility for absolutely shit tanking the economy. And there's no excuse for it.
This reminds me of one of my favorite sayings that I use way too much, which is when everyone in the room is an asshole, you're the asshole.
Yeah.
So it's like when it's everybody else's fault,
right?
It's your fault. Like when you don't think you could have possibly done something wrong, it's like it's probably you. It's probably you that did it.
I just remember every single coach that I had for every basketball team or baseball team or, football team, they were always like, dude, it's your deal, man. Do the fucking work, man up, and be responsible for what you're supposed to do. Don't blame dude down the way. If you missed a tackle, you missed the fucking tackle, guy. Yeah. It's not his fault. And it just, it hurts, man. It hurts me to see people act like that.
I ascribe it to sports too in my mind a lot. Like or outcomes. It's like I'm just responsible. I'm responsible for the outcomes. Like whatever happens in my house, it's an outcome of whatever I did. Whatever happens at work, whatever happens in my car, ultimately it is my fault, whether someone ran into me or not. Like I was there. I was somewhere. I wonder if that is sports related too, but that is what sometimes feels lost in the conversation of like, no matter what, right now, you are responsible for what happens in the end and what it actually looks like for everyone on the planet.
No, too, it's like getting into the ideas around a culture of blame versus a culture of fixing problems, where if you work for a corporation or you're on a team or whatever it is, whether it's sports or work or anything, if the first thing everyone does when something goes wrong is try and figure out who to blame, you're screwed. You're never going to get out of where you're at. Like you have to have like a solution oriented mindset. And this goes way into my Wayback Machine of growing up in Alabama. Like here we are again, the way that I saw men in my cultural bubble and what it meant to be a man growing up for me was you take responsibility for your actions. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are actions that were taken that you will still take responsibility for, even if it wasn't your direct fault, right? Because you're action oriented. You are oriented toward making the thing right, whatever it takes. This is all I was in Boy Scouts. All of these things roll into this same concept of I'm just going to fix it. I don't care who did it wrong. If you keep doing it wrong, you need to sit on the bench. You need to sit the next round out. We'll get you back in, but just take a beat while all the grown-ups fix the problem.
Yep. And ultimately, I mean, every leadership book you've ever read or every leadership conference you've ever been to or lecture that you've ever been to, they're always going to tell you that the leader, the project manager, the boss, they ultimately are responsible for everything that happens underneath them. And a good leader will never point fingers. They will never. The chef shouldn't be blaming the wait staff. I mean, it just doesn't happen. Somebody's steak is fucked up. Just fix them a new steak. I don't care whose fault it is. The customer wants their steak the way they want their steak. So just get it to them. I don't care who did it. We could stand here arguing for 30 minutes and it's just going to make the shit go longer. So, ultimately a good leader will always, always, always fall on their sword. Managers of baseball teams. We didn't perform well. I didn't coach well. I got to get these guys better prepared. And if they're not doing that, they immediately get called out as being douchebags or terrible coaches. And I don't understand why that's not happening here. I don't get it.
Not the guy who bankrupted 6 companies.
What? How do you fucking bankrupt a casino, by the way? The house always wins. That's hard to do.
I went there. We went for my partner's 30th birthday. She turned 30,
Nice.
31. It was a long time ago. No, it's not like a decade or so ago. But it was the best night of our lives. And when it shut down, we were so surprised.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, I don't know. How did that make any sense? Because I hit for like $6,000 and we couldn't, it was like a very random set of events where the house did not win. We won. That's interesting. And then Trump Taj Mahal was like closed within like 4 years of that. But
good, Steph. You bankrupted Trump. I love it. That's my girl.
He's coming for you. He's going to come for you.
I still
Please tell me you went to Trump University too.
Never. Mother forced to go to real college. No, but I still keep that little Trump card from the Trump Taj Mahal. It was a very special weekend, and it was expensive until we won like almost $10,000. We all bought a little Betsy Johnson bag. It was great. It was great. Also, I just want to say, I can relate to the side of thinking you're so innovative and different that you're going to make it better by trying new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There is like, I have some empathy for that because I have been on the ass end of that thinking so many times. And I just like the example that comes to mind is, I don't remember the job or project, but I was really struggling with meetings. I was telling my mom and sister about it, who I didn't respect about the issue. I was like telling them about it. And they were listening and they were like, do you not use like Robert's Rules of Order? And I was like, what? And they're like, do you not use, and she asked me like more aggressively, do you not use Robert's Rules of Order to structure your meetings? And I was like, I don't know what that is. And she was like, that's the church board. That's how the church board runs their meeting structure. You know, the church meetings we went to, like, cursed me out. And I was like, I think she's tripping. And then I went to Google and Googled it. And it was like, that's the basis for all business meetings in the history of time. And it started with the church. But like, that is the basis of Taylor's. It's the basis of so many things and bringing order to stuff. And it never occurred to me that I was always within the structure, learning the right things. I was just looking to break some shit and be innovative. When I
cut to me Googling Robert's orders.
Next time you're at work, just ask anyone if they have heard of Robert's Rules of Order, and you will get the blankest stare. Nobody knows at all.
Well, I definitely didn't. You got me. I mean, I'm on their page. I'm like, who's Robert? Hey, Bobby, what's up?
There's so much I don't still know about it, but I knew that using that method, it actually brought some order to my innovative lifestyle.
You know, I'm all good with like I said, the government is broken, you know, and if you want to try to fix it, I'm good with that. But let's not come at it like a fucking toddler walking through a thing of building blocks, just tearing shit down like Godzilla. Have a fucking plan, man. You know, I mean, you explain tariffs one way, right? This is my favorite thing, right? He loves tariffs. That's Trump's new thing is he loves tariffs. And he wants to use tariffs to build up American industry, but he doesn't want to make them permanent, which is the only way you could build up Americans' manufacturing industry is by putting a permanent tariff on so we could have the time to build the manufacturing plants and infrastructure, right? So that's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to use it to be a negotiating tool, but then he's saying that it's permanent. So which is it, man? You're just making shit up off the top of your head. Doge, just making shit up off the top of their head. Let's just fire everybody. Because who needs someone that knows what they're doing in government? That wouldn't be efficient. I mean, it just is this shotgun way of fixing things that if you're not following Robert's fucking rules, Jesus, help us.
Often.
Take the wheel, Jesus. Take the wheel.
That is often what I say.
Yeah.
Is this a good time to segue into my video, which I was asking God to help a lot, actually.
Yeah, I have
come back to the tariffs. Yeah. So let's roll on.
For my video, I talked about a little thing that's been happening to me over the last 12 months, which has been happening to most of us, many of us, not all of us, Jamie, is the Cowboy Carter album and everyone's experience with it. But as per usual, fuck everyone else. I talked about my experience with it, and it was a complex and interesting and beautiful one. Time with my most revered person in the world and one of my most favorite people ever, my mother. But also Cowboy Carter as an album was a tough experience because of how it rolled out publicly too. So I'm going to, one of the comments that someone left that I really, really liked. Let me make sure I pull it up.
While she's pulling that up, if you have not watched this video, please go right now, push pause, head over to TikTok, check us out, watch that video. It's awesome. It's so awesome.
That's kind of you.
Eat that up because I'm not kind very often. Fuck y'all.
Make it sound so mean, you big old softy.
The comment is, I have a similar struggle listening to The Read, which happens to be my favorite podcast of all time. And just one of the greatest podcasts ever. So listening to The Read.
To The Read.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, they are two comedians and humorists who have been best friends and talking for 15 years about celebrity news and gossip. And they innovated the concept of doing Blue Ivy and Northwest baby voices. When those kids were born, they came up with full personalities for them. And it has been something that's lasted, but it's really aged beautifully, honestly. But they're icons, and they work now in a lot of comedy, and I think one of them has their degree in mental health. So I have a similar struggle listening to The Read. I've had a hard time listening to it without missing my mom and the opportunity to talk about it with her. I wonder who this person is, because that is the only other thing that my mother and I also would do together. She thought The Read was listenable as well. So I think that is what my video is about. Is the Cowboy Carter was incredible when it released in April. It served every single purpose it could possibly serve. It served a historic need and legacy that might live inside of someone that they're trying to get in touch with. It served a very, very fun and entertainment. It's one of her best dance tracks that she's ever made, I think, on there. And I think it continued this artistic legacy that Beyoncé is trying to build out as a, like I said, longtime Beehive member. So she's doing all of these things. People are experiencing it, enjoying it. My mom and I are enjoying it full time, but it is when you lose your mother and you still have Cowboy Carter to deal with. It was very, very disorienting. And I became a bit Trumpian, is like the best way to describe it. By like February, I remember being at like a lunch for work, and ranking all of the Beyoncé albums and not putting Cowboy Carter near the top and telling people why it wasn't good enough. And I think it was to protect myself, or I told myself it was protect myself in case she didn't win Grammy of the Year or Album of the Year. And then she won Album of the Year, and I was still incensed. And then that's when I had to actually think through what I was feeling and that I was just kind of missing that relationship with my mom. So I think if we go back to why I'm here and why I felt the need to do it, I've gone through, I went through a lot 5 years ago, and I think I'm going through a lot now, or with the death of my father 5 or 6 years ago, and my death of my mother 6 years ago or 6 months ago. I had a beautiful relationship with both of them and a lot of time and guidance. And I see a lot of people that didn't have that relationship with anyone spiraling right now. So it's like this weird bit of I am in grief and freaking out, kind of in the absence of my parents, but also I know what to do. I know what I was expected to do as a Black woman in America. I know what my obligation is to my family and to my name. And I don't ever take it for granted. And I think people are freaking out and don't know what to do. And if I can talk and have conversations with people during that time, this time I'm more prepared than I was maybe 5 or 6 years ago to do that. So I think that's her comment is essentially why there are a lot of people exactly like me who they listen to Cowboy Carter every morning. They listen to The Read every Friday, and they're figuring it out right now. So yeah, that was a good comment. Good comment. Really.
I love that, man. That's just so awesome. So awesome. Everybody, we always kind of look for that anchor, something to, as isolated as we've become with social media and, you feel like you're always in contact with people, but it's really very isolating.
Yeah.
So it's important to really kind of have your people. And sometimes when you can have that connection, I think sports does that really well. You get that connection with other people. You get that sense of community. And so when you can find that with somebody, that's really cool. Very, very cool. I have questions for you.
Please hit me.
Okay. So Steph had mentioned earlier that I was a rookie to the Cowboy Carter situation. I had heard several cuts from the album before. I did not know that Blackbird was on it, and your video mentioned that your mom was one of your mom's favorite things, and that she was a Beatlehead.
Mm-hmm.
So just so y'all understand, I have a 22-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And before bed every night, I sing Blackbird to them. I sang it to my 22-year-old, my 19-year-old. I sang it to Violet, and I sing it to Rosie every night before bed.
My heart exploded. Please stop talking.
Oh, so it's one of my favorites. It's absolutely one of my favorites. So I'm very sensitive to whether or not this. I was looking for any reason to be motherfucker. Yeah, I would. But it was beautiful. It was well done, and the whole album as a whole. Everybody's heard the what is it? This Ain't Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Hold'em is the name of the song. Mm-hmm. But there are a couple of tracks on there that I hadn't heard of that are just outstanding. I love her cover of Jolene.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I do love her cover of Jolene. But there was another one. It was an original that I heard, and I was just like, it wasn't country at all.
Daughter?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Oh man, it was so good. I was floored by how good it was. I'm making dinner. I'm listening to the whole thing. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em. I like them both anyway.
16 Carriages was the harbinger that all hell was going to break loose. Yeah. I knew it the night because that was the Super Bowl before. That was the 2024 Super Bowl that the next day, because she had a Verizon commercial.
Right.
Then she released 16 carriages that night. And I was driving to work and I was like, why are there so many tears coming out of, are these my eyes? I was like, what's happening, right? What? And I was like, what? And I was like, I don't even think I understand the words. What's happening? And then I was like, no, I do understand. I understand she's telling me her journey and what it's been like for her. And also, oh yeah, I remember that as her fans. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's nice. 16 carriages is great.
It was awesome. I was floored by it, and I knew it was great when I heard it because for me, I've got that troll thing happening. She came out with country and shit, and I was like, oh hell yes, we are gonna get some people that are they're never even gonna hear a single note of it. Are just gonna go crazy that Beyonce dared to make a country album, and I hate country. I mean, I do. I can't stand it. If I were to ask the question, it'd be what music sucks and why is it country? That's how I would phrase that. Everybody loves it. I hate country music.
That's aggressive.
Oh, I hate it. This was great. I liked it.
So country music is my favorite genre, Jamie.
Surprise.
No, it is not.
Bring home
but
Alabama.
I do have really strong opinions about country music, partly because lived in the Nashville area for a long time. So the city, first of all, is like a weird place where it's like it is the music city, not just the country music city. Like there's a lot of crazy stuff there. And it's funny, like we can get into it another time, but Paige didn't understand who I was until we visited Nashville together. And she saw some dude basically playing a set in like a kebab shop. Yep. One dude in the corner of a kebab shop playing. And she was like, what is that guy doing? And I was like, he's just trying to get out there and do his thing. And she was like, in that moment, she was just like, I understand everything about you now. This so much about your personality and that like how much just like crazy grit you have. And you're just willing to try something like what we're doing here today. It's just like, she's like, okay, I get it. I get it. So I have a lot of very strong feelings about country music. I have a lot of very strong feelings about the proliferation of country music that is out there now. And like, I should do the air quotes, like country music. It's like slapping a steel guitar in or a banjo. It's singing with a twang. Does not make it country music. It's like so much more of an emotional storytelling experience, all these things. Like Paige started playing Cowboy Carter for me. And I think similar to your drive home, she was like up in the kitchen. She was like, what do you think of like 16 Carriages? What do you think of this song? And I was like, it's pretty good country music. It's like immediately tears. I mean, the whole album it's a journey and it's just really great music making. And one of the reasons I think it's such great music making too, and it truly hits this checkbox for me that is country music, is that country music is both very specific in its lyrics, but it's also generic enough that it can fit into so many different people's lives and you can feel it in your own way, even though you didn't have that exact experience as the singer from wherever they are or whatever they're doing. And that's why, to me, it's not the fact that there's a twang or there's certain instruments or there's those sorts of things. To me, like country music is a lot of ways like a feeling and how it makes you feel when I mean, yeah, so you do kind of need like the frillies and the sparkles and you need the flash because that's part of the fun of it. But
not if you're Johnny Cash, you don't.
No, yeah. But he still had a very specific look. It was a flash. It was just a different flash.
Excuse me. Did he not have hair dye? That was not his real hair color all those years.
No.
Well, I mean, probably not all those years, but he wasn't flashy.
Johnny Cash was flashy.
You don't keep a black suit black in Nashville.
That's true. That's fair enough.
It's without people constantly doing the fuzz thing and like wiping it down and like. So yeah, that's my feels about country music, but also about your video, Steph. It's a reminder of how grateful I am to be your friend and in your sphere, because what you described a few minutes ago and what you have described about like the comment are some of the benefits that I get from your mother through you, because there are so many people in this world that may have been raised in perfectly great, comfortable homes, but didn't like you describe your relationship with your parents. And I'm like shocked. I'm like, they did what for you to wear now? Like what?
Very hands-on is the best way we can describe it. It was hands-on from start until very end. And I was like, no, I get it. I see why you wanted to guide me through that a little bit. But also, it really worked out, guys. There's a level of fear that it just doesn't exist because I think there's like I mean,
yeah.
What are you going to take?
Right.
You have stripped away just about everything that could really matter to people or certain people. And there's a lot that could come out of talking or helping. So just try it. But yeah, I benefited. I have very hands-on guidance that I would love to tell people about. And people like guidance. You know that. People like Blackbird sung to them every night too, though. Do you
Hell
play
yeah.
guitar? Can I just ask, what happens?
Do I break out a guitar? No,
Yeah.
I just do it. I just sing it to him. No, I'm not a guitar player. I might be able to play on piano, but not on guitar.
Shedding a thug tear, either way. I didn't cry through my own video, but you singing Blackbird.
It's so funny. I mean, and that's, all the Beatles songs that are out there. I tried a few, but that's the one that resonated the most. And it resonated with all four of them too.
Mm-hmm.
They all four go back to that song. Cause I would sing a few different things to them. And that's the one that they would always go back to is Blackbird. All of them, all four of them, without question. And it's funny. It's really interesting.
You know what's funny? My mother didn't say that she did it better than the beat. She was just like, it was a suitable and like, it was a good interpret. And she was very clear. No, she did a really good job. Jolene, she killed. Jolene, it's like, I love what she did there. Blackbird, she's like, no, I'm really proud of her for what I was like, oh, it's like me. Okay. It's not too much. You're not going to give her all of the praise.
I like it with a period.
Yeah, so, and I think that's right. I think what that song meant to her when McCartney sung it, her being from 1952, that song and what it meant to her and what Paul McCartney, Beyoncé, she could have nothing on Paul and the Beatles with it just couldn't happen.
I am such a big fan of your mother.
Yeah, she was great.
And your dad too. I'm sad that I didn't get to watch a boxing match with him.
We do. There's more to talk about with that. Yeah.
Good.
Sports and fathers. It's a thing.
I only talk about my dad with my therapist. So
he gets plenty of time with the therapist. Listen. My God. Equal time.
Willie, tell me about
Speaking of therapy, yeah. So, who wants to talk about ChatGPT now?
I do.
So, slight left turn, but we are going back to tariffs in it. So for those who haven't seen my video yet, it was about a handful of subjects kind of clobbered into one. One of them, really the central core of it was what being a spy means and what having someone as your asset means in reality. And it's really just having access to information from that person, and that person may or may not know that they are actually your asset. So that, if like the CIA goes out to like get someone and turn them into a CIA asset, like this isn't like they go out and they're like, hey dude, do you want to give us information? We're going to give you money. That's not really good spy work. It's like they're going to set up a shell company and give you a business and do a thing. And then all of a sudden they're going to be your best friend and you're just going to spill all your guts to them. Like that's how it works. So the reason that was a problem related specifically to the tariffs is because if you can figure out that the United States government is making policy decisions based off of information they're getting out of ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT can be a spy asset for anyone with access that knows how to ask it the right questions. The reason we know that people were able to ask it the right questions, and this gets to our comment from Debbie and the Dogs, which love the username. She's even got little dog emojis in the username, which is just like perfect. Hers was, how does ChatGPT know? So there's a clear distinction here that like ChatGPT itself didn't like know that Trump and them had created the tariffs using ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is just a tool. It's just a really crazy tool. And that like, it's like a tool that you can build a fire with that can teach you how to use like how to build a fire while you're using the tool. What people did is they started asking ChatGPT because a lot of people were very confused by the tariffs, and like they were all over the place. They really didn't make much sense. Like there was not real logic to follow it. So people started peppering ChatGPT with questions to say, and you are going to create tariffs, how would you have gotten here? And ChatGPT ended up spitting out the exact formula that they used to create the tariffs. So people were able to reverse engineer it. I mean, in hours. It was really, really fast. So ChatGPT didn't know specifically, like it's not like a thinking mind or anything like that, but as a tool, people were able to just instantly use it to figure it out. And that's why it's a problem that it's like, if someone's like, oh, like what's the United States going to do next in the war and blah, 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 just go ask ChatGPT. It might tell you exactly what Pete Hegseth and his super smart, secure, secret keeping buddies are going to do next. Because they literally might just be asking ChatGPT everything. So it's like you have access to everything. So that's why it's getting riled up.
Shout out to Critifer707. You have Salty Knitter and Debbie and the dogs for all the comments. Just kind of don't want them to slide by without being acknowledged. Will, you know how I feel about Chat GPT and all AI.
Fantastic.
I think we've kind of touched that subject a little
Turning
bit.
your whole life over to it, right?
Well, yeah, I know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had the conversation or not. I am 100% certain that it is the end of humanity.
Oh, 100. Okay.
100%. We're done. This is it. We're in the end game now. And it's AI's fault. So Skynet will come online, and that will be the end of it. But the thing with the Chat GPT that really gets me is that you know, and it's getting better obviously, but the learning module takes mistakes and learns the mistakes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they call them? Hallucinations, Will? Is that what they're calling them when it spits out incorrect information?
Yes.
So like you had dudes, clerks for law offices and lawyers and judges citing case law that didn't exist because ChatGPT made that shit up. And that's why it's so friggin' dangerous.
Well, that like your comment there too about like it making up fake case law and stuff like that. One, it's like that's on you, right? If you used it and it gave you something wrong, that's on you. It reminds me of being in grad school where someone turned in a paper like early on, and they had cited Wikipedia. They cited a Wikipedia article, and our professor laid into the class and was like, if you bring me a paper citing Wikipedia ever again, I will instantly fail it, because Wikipedia is not a source. You can use Wikipedia to find sources, but it in and of itself is not a source, which is the way that I approach any sort of AI, that it's like it points you to a source. So if you need a specific piece of information, you need to go deeper and find it, which is, I think, a general problem with people using the internet these days. They assume that, I mean, this blog post, it was real good. I mean, it was real well written. Like, right, it's probably just made up.
Couldn't agree with you more. I have put in really stupid things, really wrong things into ChatGPT. It's like, build me a world on this incorrect item. And it went far and deep and wide. I mean, there was someone, and I don't know if this was a meme or a lie. It probably was both and the truth. But they were saying how they asked ChatGPT to help them write a legal brief that would help them get dismissed from a legal incident. And ChatGPT helped them write that brief. I have to believe, though, that person's digital literacy skills was more than Mr. Potato Head. And that's what we're fighting. Reading comprehension is not what it used to be. And I think when we're calling ChatGPT the hallucinations, I remember librarians at research institutions, at grad schools all over the world, who were like, why do you think a graduate student would understand how to cite sources? I teach them that when I get here. And I'm like, well, they're 25. What do you mean you're teaching them that? And they're like, well, they don't know anymore. And they're like, you don't get it. You didn't have Google your whole education, or you didn't have, they were like, they don't know how, they stopped knowing how to go into Google Scholar, Google Earth, like all of the advanced search tools that even Google was, that stopped. And I knew higher ed was over about a decade ago when that librarian told me that. I was like, oh, this is going to be really bad. And I think like people like Scott Galloway and other influencers have been like, yeah, higher ed is rough these days because they don't know how to find information and they don't know how to vet where that information arrived. So,
which is really what higher ed is about. And it took me into my grad degree to get it because I got a professional degree from my undergrad, which was like learn how to draw shapes and do engineering and stuff like that, right? So it was a very specific thing. My grad degree, though, was like finance, law, and planning stuff, right? So it was like, we had to learn how to teach ourselves, and we had to learn how to create new information in a new point of view and be able to argue it in an indefensible way where it's like, you cannot pick me apart because I am ironclad with what I have got here. So it's like spending times in the stacks with those crazy like bookcases where if you get stuck and someone starts turning the thing, it's like you yell. I mean, it's like you get pinned in there. And I don't think anyone's ever died in there, but it's scary in there.
it is.
Sometimes. Yeah, so it's like having to do that stuff. Yeah, it feels like it's getting lost on a lot of people. And it's just so kind of like terrifying that the people who are running our government are using essentially super Google that's not even tied in with necessarily great information to make these sweep it back to your initial point, JB, however many hours ago it was, of like, they're just randomly picking stuff. It's just you can't follow it, and it's so hard and it's so scary. And it kind of makes me sad because I quite enjoy ChatGPT, but I have a very analytical research engineering type mind, and I think it's very useful if used the correct way.
Yeah.
But you have to use it the correct way to get good, meaningful output. You can't just sit there and be like, ChatGPT, tell me what. No. That's not how it works.
I mean, I think we've I there was something in the back of my mind that's kind of been sitting there kind of talking with me about yes, I hear voices. That's been kind of talking about, back in the day when you'd get a chain letter and you had to mail it to 23, like a physical letter. You have to mail it to 20 people or else bad luck was going to happen to you. And people would freak the fuck out when you got one. You're like, no, you got 3 days or you're literally your mom will be dead. If you don't send this thing, your mom will be dead. I feel like we're kind of back to that, I mean, I feel like social media has taken us down this road to the point where, I can't even believe that there are people out there that are still, flat earthers and, the RFK Juniors of the world. And, we're back to snake oil salesmen. How did we go there? This is unbelievable to me.
Don't get me started.
There was a time where you had to have, in order
a
to
lot on this subject.
Oh my God, in order to make a claim, a scientific claim, you had to have a research facility and you had to vet it out. And then you had to throw it through a whole system of peers reviewing it. And, now it's just like, now we're like, yeah, well, some guy in Alabama said that autism is caused by the measles and mumps and rubella. And it's like, what? Where do you get this shit? And then when you show them the actual research, they go, I don't believe it. What? What? Wait, what?
I cannot fathom. Like, I just don't. And I really honestly would quite like to understand this point of view at some point where I live in the most comfortable time in all of human history. Like, we live better than kings and queens did 200 years ago. Like,
Tell them.
it is beyond nice.
It smells amazing.
Oh yeah.
Comparatively.
Like,
Even
yeah,
Like-
incredible. And it's literally, people are just like, too good.
Yep.
We need to roll it back. I'm enjoying this too much.
And I get some malaria. And I get
too easy for me to become the most obese human in all of human history. It's too easy. We need to make it much harder for that. It's just like so much opulence has made people just, it's like we have to have a certain number of problems at any given time as a human being. And people are just like, well, if you're not gonna give them to me, I'm gonna make them myself.
And we're good at that. In human history, we're great at that. That was good.
That was
So just for everybody that's listening and viewing, Will and I are in Atlanta, and Steph is separated by the great state of, let's see, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Virginia. What else is between us? Is that everybody?
That's it. That's it.
I like to hop over to Virginia or Maryland anytime I can.
Are you in DC or are you in Maryland?
I'm telling people where I am, but I'm around.
Okay. Yeah. You're mid-Atlantic.
I'm in the greater DMV, is what we say around.
The greater DMV. What does DMV stand for?
DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought it was a.
Don't worry. I'm going to have a rant about DMV traffic, and I'll say a lot of things, and I'll tag it. You'll find out from a lot of us how we're feeling. A lot of feelings about DMV.
Well, that's a good lead in. What's something that's happening like right now that's either driving you crazy or you think is interesting, or what's on your mind, as the kids say? That's not what the kids say, by the way.
Never. The kids never said.
Kids say at all.
Watched the Met Gala this week, Monday.
Oh, that's right, Met Gala. That's right.
My partner and I, we have watched every year since there was a live stream, and before there was a live stream, we would go on YouTube and look for pirated, or anywhere for pirated streams, which there were 2 or 3 years ago. But we sat down and watched, tried to figure out for like 15 minutes what was happening. And then we finally were like, dandyism, we got it. Because like, it was 1 out of every 3 people who were holding to the theme. So like, we saw Shakira and she was like in a pink flowing dress, and I was confused. But then I saw someone else and they were not in that. And so I couldn't figure out what it was without listening or watching it first. But then I did. And I have some favorites, but my most important thing that happened during the Met Gala was there is an artist and performer and singer, and rapper. Her name is Doechii.
Mm-hmm.
She has gotten very popular over the last year and has been around for about 5 years, 6 years. I've been aware of her for 5 or 6 years. Her first year at the Met Gala, though, I think, and I was very interested to see what she would do and how she would present, mainly because at the Grammys, she wore Tom Brown, and it looked incredible. All of her dancers and her were in these amazingly beautiful structured suits that once I get some Ozempic, I'm going to buy one of them and I'm going to wear that Tom Brown suit everywhere. I got to get a couple shots first, but as soon as I get that, I will have that Doechii suit. Oh, one other thing. The Met Gala happened on the same day that the Diddy case started. That's all. Nothing more on that, but that's
okay. So for those of us that don't have any idea, other than that the Met Gala happens once a year and it's in New York and it's a big fashion situation. You said that there's a theme every
biggest. Not just big, Jimmy.
It's the biggest.
The biggest.
So from what I understand, and I've not tuned into live streams or anything like that, from what I understand, the outfits are supposed to be outrageous. They're supposed to be off the chain. So if I see somebody that's in a regular old tux, I'm thinking, well, you just mailed it in. Is that correct?
A lot of times. Can be, but not always.
Not always. Okay.
Not
So
always. They could do something magnificent with white or black only, and it changed the whole year. And that did happen.
So, like, part of the theme this year, Jamie, was tailoring.
Mhm.
So a big part of it was having something that so you could get also, like, as part of this tailoring thing, like, not just getting like a typical designer. Some people actually got people who were just tailors to create their outfit. So part of it was like the tailoring of it. So is it tailored to your body? Does it have expressive tailoring? Things like that. So, like, Lewis Hamilton was one of the hosts this year, or like the co-hosts that they have. And he was just in sort of a generally, like, it was an ivory suit, but it was like perfectly tailored to his body. All of those. And he also had like a lot of symbolism within it. So there were things sewn onto the suit and different like things represented. Like he had shells that represented money and like all of these things, like historical references and all of this stuff. So it can be a wide range, but it is also, to me, like, I'm not huge into this, but I mean, hey, who doesn't like good fashion?
So that's
there were
my
a number of
question.
outfits this year that were infuriating.
What is it that y'all really dig about the Met Gala? Because it's all just a fashion show, right? I mean, we don't know what the hell happens inside. Well, I don't need, what are they doing there? Is there a party? Is there, are we raising money for the Met? What's happening? Do we know? Do we
They're
care?
not supposed to have phones in there, except Meg the Stallion does whatever the fuck she wants. So she had a couple of phones in there, but it's supposedly a party, and
sure everybody
and it leaks. I don't know if it raises money, but I know it's a party, and they usually have sculptures or things in there to look at.
Okay.
I would assume too, it's the sort of party where it's at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So all 503c donations. So we're throwing this huge gala to write it off on our taxes.
Sure.
Duh.
Okay, so now what was, give me a couple of your top looks, Steph, that I see. I've just Googled real quick a couple of them, and I see Doshi's.
Yeah. I like hers. So I like Lupita Nyong'o. I don't know if I say her last name right, but hers had shoot. I don't know if it was Chanel, but I know it was this light blue frosted like zoot suit is the best way to describe it. But it was absolutely gorgeous. Tiana Taylor as well, which last name
Just
Taylor.
Just looking at it.
Oh, you're looking at it? Yeah.
Yeah, right now. That's wild.
Yes. It was beautiful. I thought it was great. I thought Tiana Taylor also matched the night with a tailored look. She also did some of the hosting on some of the streams. And then finally, I will say a third, Sabrina Carpenter. I very much enjoyed her outfit too.
Okay.
It was a bodysuit, but it had a cape, and she rocked it. It was great.
So really, some of my favorites on the men's side, Walton Goggins had this incredible like black and white skirt. It was like showing off the inverse of tailoring. It was really, really cool. Coleman Domingo was one of the co-hosts, and he had like an outfit change.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. I'm like, too many to thank. I really like Andrew Scott. One of my big things that I got worked up. Obviously, my big thing for the week too is also the Met Gala, but for different reasons, which we'll get to. One of the things that I was really hoping for in the theme was that there would be more use of like color. And like a lot of people, it was just straight black and white. And I get it, and it looked good, but I just wanted there to be more. So like, so Andrew Scott,
a lot of reds in there too,
super colorful. And then I loved Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny had a really, really great one too. I mean, so many of the men were like, a lot of times the men's are just like really not very fun.
Right.
So many of the men's outfits this year were just crushing it.
Kind of dig Janelle Monáe's little.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
She had a reveal.
Yes. Hers
That's
was
pretty
so
cool.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, see, like Gigi Hadid, I'm looking at this, and it's, she's pretty. She looks great. It looks like a kind of a throwback 1940s movie star, but it's just a dress. Who's this Willy Wonka chick? What's happening right here?
There were people that said that Gigi wasn't a nod to someone, but I was like, if you don't know the nod, you have no idea that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's wild, man. That's number one. I didn't know. There's Coleman Domingo. That dude can do no wrong.
He can really do no wrong.
I love him. He's a great interview too. If you listen to him, have either of you guys seen Sing Sing?
No, I need
Okay.
to. We've been yeah.
Just kind of as an aside, Sing Sing is it's a movie which was actually a play. I believe it was taken from a Broadway play. And Sing Sing had a program. Sing Sing is a prison for those of you that don't know, and I believe it's a max security prison too. But Sing Sing has a program, a theater program inside the prison. And so this movie is about that theater program and the acting program and what it does for its inmates and how it allows them to express themselves and kind of a little bit of therapy in and of itself. But the movie is about it, and they used some of the real inmates in the film. They shot it in Sing Sing. And if you listen to Coleman Domingo talk about it, he's a wild kind of listen. He's great.
When was this film? When was this made?
This year, I think. Was it this year?
Yeah, it was up for this year's Oscars in February.
It definitely should have been. I mean, it's great.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Well, that's so. I mean, I feel like I'm missing out. Number one, the fact that it's like an event that's televised is wild to me. I mean, I didn't even know that.
That's the point. Let's talk about it being televised. Will, how did you consume it? How did you?
Yeah, so for me, a little bit of a different experience. It was a fun night because I'm huge into sports and I'm huge into sports coverage. Partly because I worked in sports coverage at one point. So I have all sorts of crazy ways to set up our house for events. So we get done with dinner last night, or not last night, was it Monday night? And Paige goes down, sits on the couch, and she's just kind of like goofing around on her phone or something, like waiting for me to come down. And I walk downstairs and I just hand her a cocktail. And she's like, "What are you putting on?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it." She's like, "Why do you have the iPad?" I'm like, "Just don't worry about it." So I set her up because it's her Super Bowl. Like, she also enjoys sports. She's, whatever. But like, this is, I mean, she was talking about it for a week leading up to it. Like, this is as broad a target of like, hey, do you want to be a good husband? Like, it was like red and shining. It's like, just mention it even. So we did, I think, the Vogue live stream on YouTube on the big screen. And then I pulled up, we would kind of rifle through a few different live streams on the iPad. And then she was on her iPhone going through, because we both love Blakely Thornton. He's on Instagram and I think other places too, but he's fantastic. He and I share a lot of similar opinions about things, which I wish he would be friends with me, but I'm a straight white male. I don't think that's on his bingo card forever, but hey, fingers crossed. You never know. So that was our setup. So we watched the live streams. We had it going in both areas. We were just hanging out, having a good time. And it went like, the reason it became, it actually is sort of like a gripe for me, because we were enjoying the Vogue coverage was great.
Yeah.
They did. I'm like blanking on the names. It was
wasn't
it on SNL?
EO.
I had the name on the top of I knew it earlier and I've forgotten it now. It's too much pressure, apparently. But anyway,
I'm not the guy to ask.
Their coverage is really, really good. They were bouncing back and forth between, you could see the kind of carpet in the main area where everyone's taking photos, and then they had like really simple coverage questions, and they were just kind of asking people about their outfits and stuff like that. It was really great. Their thing ended and I just clicked it over to like E. I think it was E, and their coverage like infuriated me, because you could tell they had been coached on what they were and were not supposed to say. Okay, it came to me. It's Ego Nodum. I can never say her last name right. She's an SNL person, cast member. Been for like a decade now.
Nearly. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vogue's coverage great. And then so on E though, it was just like every single person who came up, they were like, oh my God, like what an amazing outfit. I'm standing there looking at him like, look, I'm not a real fashion person, but like, what the fuck is that? What are they doing? Like one of my least favorite people on the planet, which I probably shouldn't actually admit to who this is out loud, but it's Kim Kardashian. Her outfit to me, train wreck.
Oh,
And I have confirmation because you can go see. So Blakely Thornton was doing coverage with The Cut, and his like clip on The Cut was him just going like, "Oh no, oh no, what?" And like people were yelling. He's like, "She ain't coming over here." I'm like, oh, we don't. What is? And she got further up. And he's just like, "What even? No, oh no!" Like he hated it. I was like, "Yes, validation. Thank you." So you could tell though that the E coverage was just they had been coached so heavily about the personalities and not to talk about the fashion. It was just really it was kind of disappointing. And it led me down this real rabbit hole of like, now I know why people don't trust mainstream media. But that's like a whole different
That's an entire podcast.
That's a whole different subject.
I will say I acknowledge that there was a huge difference in the two streams too. We hopped around too, and I think it was Ego, and Tiana Taylor. They were together and they were so chill, and they knew the people they were interviewing and had reasonable questions for them. It wasn't, they were interviews. What was happening on the other stream was just fanning out. And it's what's happened every other year of the Met Gala. Like usually it's that, the people walking by and them freaking out. So this was like a huge improvement. That Vogue stream was the best version I've ever remembered of actual interviews happening. And they didn't seem too high. Sometimes you catch the celebrities too late and they're already too high by the time that they get to like Lala Anthony right at the door. Like when you're right at the door of the Met Gala, you've already taken all the pills while you're standing in line to walk. So like by the time they get to Lala, they're like, oh, happy to be here. It's just get inside. So they were like the variance of the interviews. It made a huge difference to me too this year. It was great. But also horrendous what they've historically done.
I feel like I'm missing out on the Met Gala thing, so I'm gonna have to probably go back and watch a little stream to figure out what's going on. I mean, I know I've seen some crazy outfits in the past, and I always I've always wondered what the draw was. It's never been. I'm not a big award show guy either, and that seems like a whole red carpet situation too, where they kind of follow that same kind of vibe.
Yeah. For sure. Well,
those red carpets I can't get into as much, but
no, me neither.
This one is huge. I feel like you should plan for next year because I feel like the girls will be just old enough that they might be interested in seeing this sort of thing, and I feel like Katie would love it too.
Yeah, well, that's her whole thing is the red carpet. She'd care less about the awards. She just wants to see the outfits. So, yeah.
I mean, they put a lot of time into it.
Yeah. Well, Kim, I was just looking at the Kim Kardashian one. She looks like Carmen Sandiego trying to make a little cash on the street corner. Can I say that? Did I say that out loud?
You did.
No, not so much, maybe.
Hey, you know what you'll never get from me, and it'll take a lot? Kim Kardashian slander. It's gonna have to get real bad with her. But again, I want to remind you guys, the Diddy trial started on Monday. I'm just going to keep saying that to people as we go.
A whole lot of butt clinching going on right now.
2025.
Body Kegels on each coast right now.
Between that and every time you hear Jeffrey Epstein's black book, every time you hear those words,
That's the one.
It's got people from all walks of life going, oh, please, God.
I agree.
Y'all remember when the Ashley Madison database was hacked and they released all the names for Ashley Madison? This is a very similar kind of feel to me.
So funny when the Duggar boy, Josh Duggar, was on the Ashley Madison list. I died. I was like, oh.
There are a lot of folks that were like, oh.
Yeah, it was a lot of folks. A lot of people.
Oh. Yeah.
We all made it out safely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And nobody cares about me.
This is real. Yeah.
No one's looking for my name on that list. No, it sure as hell ain't coming up in the Diddy playlist either. I promise you that.
No.
Me and Justin Bieber hanging out with Diddy.
Oh no.
Roll Beebs.
Poor Leonardo.
Yeah, or Leonardo.
Do we know? This is what I'm saying. Everything's gonna change. Enjoy your movies. Enjoy your music.
That's a topic we'll have to get into. We'll have to dive into.
That'll be for next week, if you will.
Yeah, we got all kinds of. Just as a kind of a segue into what we're looking forward to coming up in the next couple of days. Just came across my phone that the Celtics are now 0-2 against the Knicks.
No. Oh, so the Knicks fans, they're getting their hopes up so high right now.
They blew another 20-point lead tonight. Another 20-point lead. So they're 0-2. The Cavaliers are 0-2. It's like cats and dogs sleeping together in the East this week. I don't know what's happening right now.
Can I give a retort? Can I give a theory? Just a quick.
Sure.
The lead player of the Celtics. This is conspiracy hat stuff coming on real quick. The lead player of the Celtics and the lead player of the Cavaliers are both dating R&B pop stars. And I think both of them are very distracted right now.
Really? Who is Tatum dating? I haven't even paid attention.
He is Ella May is her name. Okay. I'll send you pictures. Okay. She's lovely. Lovely woman. M-A-I. Ella May, singer-songwriter. I think they're about to have their first show together, and they just recently had it. And Donovan Spider Mitchell is dating Coco Jones, who stars on Bel Air and just put out her first debut album like last week.
But we're not pointing fingers. Remember, we talked about that. We're not.
But those girls are on fire, and I'm watching their boyfriends right now. I can't not watch who you're dating and how they're performing. And I swear to you, when I was like, if the Celtics go down, Donovan and Jason are losing this poorly while Ella and Coco are doing this well, I don't mind it. But also, it's something to think about. You got to recognize people have a lot going on.
I can't. Well, and that makes you think, how is Haley Steinfeld and her appearance in Sinners going to affect Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? Because from what I hear, she spit right in Michael B. Jordan's mouth.
You're damn straight she did. And I didn't think I'd be into it. I think I'm into it now. Paige and I talked about it. I was like, I don't know. Maybe this is something we try. Like,
have you seen it, Will? Have you seen Sinners? You have? Okay, so this is one of the things that I'm looking for. This is a great segue.
Incredible.
When the IMAX version comes out, Katie and I we're gonna drive up to the IMAX theater and we're gonna watch it in IMAX because it was shot on an IMAX camera, and that's how Ryan Coogler wanted it to be viewed as it.
I might have to go see it again, man.
I didn't know that.
I'm excited. I'm super stoked for it.
There's a scene, you will realize it once you get to this scene in the movie. Both Paige and I, we get in the car afterward and we just both start saying, oh my God, there was this one scene. And we were both talking about the exact same scene. I got equally choked up, but just I felt it was just amazing. It's I think that in that movie is one of the coolest scenes I have ever seen in any movie, period, the end. I'm also huge into music and it ties in deeply to music.
Right,
so it hits me in a deep way. Um, incredible.
I
Just
love I love Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan together. To me, they're like, you
They're
know,
great.
like Scorsese and De Niro work together really well. I feel like these two cats are just they're on the same page, man. They really are on the same page.
I'll go see it.
I definitely want to go see it. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to. The biggest thing that I'm looking forward to is that the school year is almost over. And I don't know about all y'all out there, but anybody that's a parent with kids that are in elementary school, they make those kids wake up way too fucking early. We got to get up at 6 o'clock in the damn morning to get these kids to school by 7. And that is insane. It's insane. So I'm stoked to be able to sleep until like 8 o'clock because I'm an actor. I don't need to get up until, I could sleep until noon and be cool. But these poor little girls got to get up so early to go to school. I hate it. I hate it. So that's what I'm stoked for. Steph, what about you?
Honestly, the WNBA has started, and it is really started now. And I think I have enough games to get me through until the next time we record. And I think that is probably where I'm living. And I need to make some judgments on some players and who I'm putting my bets down on this season for Rookie of the Year.
Is there a storyline you think we should be following?
I don't. Oh gosh, dozens. But I think what the Chicago Sky can be with Angel Reese and Camilla, I think it would be very interesting. I want to know if Paige looks good as a rookie. She shoots very efficiently, but those are very large and strong women that she was going against the other night, and she looked young. She looked incredibly young. And I was like, I wonder if she'll look like an adult. I would like to know if Paige is going to look like an adult this season. That's probably my biggest concern and worry. And Caitlin, just in general, of like, let's see what history she makes, I think. So I
it's
think
coming
there's
out
enough
hot.
of it. It started, I re-upped on my WNBA subscription app. It shouldn't even be a charge, but I'd give them more money if they made me. They don't, though. They don't make me give that much. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
What about you?
I was just to clarify, just so people know, I am not married to that Paige. I am married to a different Paige who is not a WNBA player.
Imagine if
But
we
she
Just
does have mad hops.
she does. She
And a
does.
handle.
She's got a solid. I don't know. I don't know how high her vertical is. It's probably about as good as mine.
At least
yeah,
three solid inches.
yeah. For me this week, or just coming up, things that I'm excited about are have a vacation coming up. I am also super excited that our vacation, we decided to do a bit more of a kind of staycation vibe, just because, world is kind of weird right now. Should you be in an airplane? Certainly not flying into Newark. So we decided to do a staycation. It worked out well because Zelda got a little sick this week and we got to visit the emergency vet. So that would have been our vacation fund. So thank you for being a fragile, tiny, tiny dog, Zelda, improving our choices correct. So going on staycation, really excited about that. And then excited NBA playoffs. It's one of my favorite times of year. I just enjoy watching basketball. I just like sports. I don't know. I'll watch any. And then Sunday barbecue this weekend with the in-laws for Mother's Day. Yes, I said in-laws, and I enjoy hanging out with them. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Speaking
I like
of,
my in-laws. I'm down with my in-laws.
yeah, mine drink, so that's good. So I like them better than my family. Well, I mean, and also, if you've made it this far in the episode, you probably are family. So thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks to our partners and spouses, wives, our kids for taking this time because we were away from them. Also, I want to give a thanks to Lindsay Abrams, the visionary behind the three people you see right here. She is our producer. And while she isn't here for this particular episode, she whipped us every moment until we were on this button and record. And she'll probably be doing the same as soon as we hang up. So thanks for your insight and generosity, your creative spirit to help bring to Take It Personal in episode 1. I'm Steph Bartlett. This is my co-host Jamie and Will. We hope you felt something. You laughed a little bit, maybe saw yourself in the mix, maybe. If you want to keep the conversation going, follow us at Take It Personal on TikTok. Is that Take It Personal Pod?
Take it personal underscore.
Take it personal. Yeah.
Say it again.
Take it personal. You say it.
Take it personal underscore podcast.
Take It Personal underscore podcast. And follow us, message us, argue with us. We're here, we're around, and we'll see you next week to Take It Personal.
Love it. See you.
Bye.